Hey listeners, before we get started, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. In a few weeks, we're planning a very special Ask Us Anything episode. You submit questions, Mazen and I answer them. Nothing, almost nothing, is off limits. Whether it's React Native, Expo, AI, or something completely different, we want to hear from you. To submit a question, head on over to our Twitter, Blue Sky, or LinkedIn pages, which are, of course, linked in the show notes, and look for the pinned posts. We're so excited to see what you send in. All right, on to the episode.
Welcome back to another episode of the React Native Radio Podcast. Episode 363, Building React Native Apps in an AI Era.
So, Robin, do you have any vacations coming up?
Actually, funny you ask. In a couple days, I'm leaving to go to Legoland with my family.
Nice.
Which I'm super excited about. I've had a lot of people ask me what's even in Legoland?
Legos?
Which is a good question. It's not super obvious, but it's basically it's just a music park. They have roller coasters and other kind of fun rides, and then a bunch of Lego experiences. Hey, build with just giant bins of Lego, and you just go and you build. And it's geared towards a lot younger kids than Disney. Mm-hmm. The park is way smaller. The rides are less intense. Some of the rides even have height maximums. The grown-ups can't go on them. Nice. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping it'll be a little more relaxing than some of our Disney trips.
Yeah. We, in December, well, kind of going back, not future, but in December we went to Universal with my wife's family. And that family, for my mother-in-law, she has 8 grandkids. But, they're anywhere from the oldest, I believe, is either 19 or 20. And the youngest is my daughter, who's now 9 months. So imagine going to Universal and trying to find a ride where everyone can ride. Well, minus my...
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right? The carousel. We all rode the carousel. So we did that.
There you go. Yeah, that's usually our go-to.
We did that.
In Disney, that's our first ride, is always the carousel, because everyone could go on it.
And then my son is obsessed with roller coasters. I can't do it. My wife...
Yeah, how do you feel about roller coasters, Mazen?
I hate them. There's not a lot of things I hate in life. And I can't... No, it's not that I hate them. I am always interested in them. And I was like, oh, I could do this. But as I get closer and I'm standing in line, I'm like, nope, this is not happening. Yeah. So I'm the type of person that you hear about coming off a roller coaster and barfing and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
When I first met my wife, I was down in Florida coaching a soccer tournament at Disney. So ESPN Worldwide Center of Sports, which is part of Disney. They give all the participating teams and players and coaches, and they give every player 2 extra passes to take their parents to one park for a day, because you always have one day off in that tournament. So I took my then, now wife, then girlfriend at the time to, where did we even go? I forget. I think we went to Epcot. We went to Epcot because I was like, those rides aren't too crazy from what I've heard. And this is what we did for me to survive it. I'd go buy a Coke, those massive Cokes, and go and hide it at the exit, and then go and take the ride. And then on my way out, just sprint to that and just chug it to get my blood sugar back up, because I just could not do it. And still dating at the time, so still want to do all the fun stuff and all the rides.
Were you trying to put on a good show for your girlfriend?
Yeah. And the worst part was
pretend that you
the
were,
first ride she chose was horrible, and I just had to be like, listen, I think that's the last ride. You can go. But yeah, literally, my son, we went to King's Dominion in in Virginia about a month ago for spring break. And it's not that wild. It's it's a Six Flags. If you've heard of Six Flags, it's a Six Flags park, but it's not Six Flags level. It's right below it. Now they do have some crazy rides. Sure, you can find them, but all the rides that my son could go on. My son is 4, mind you. And and he's, as tall, in his class, he has 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. He's as tall as some of the 5th graders, if not taller than some of them. So he's able to go on a lot of rides. And some of the rides he chose, well, he's also still young, though, where a parent is required to sit next to them.
Yeah.
So for one ride...
Which they do by age, not by height,
correct,
right?
They do by age. So it's weird. They do it by height, but then like they look at the kid and like, okay, you're still a kid. You need a parent with you.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, like my wife took my son on this ride. As she was going, I could hear her screaming, nobody else on the ride. And I'm like, this is it. We're done. So I literally come out. I meet them at the exit because I'm with my daughter. She's sleeping in the stroller. And my son is screaming, more, more, more. I'm like, and my wife looks at me. She's like, for him to go more, we have to switch. So they do a parent swap where...
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If you have a younger kid, they let you like hang out like by the handicap exit entrance and they swap you out.
Yep. And then you swap in. Yeah. We use that a lot at Disney.
Yeah. So I did that one ride. I had my Coke afterwards and I took my daughter and like I just left my wife and son. I was like, you guys fend for yourselves. I'm not going on any more rides.
Yeah. My favorite roller coaster story from you is when you took... So I'm going to link this in the show notes. I tweeted about it like a year ago. But there's this picture of Mazen with his son in a little teeny like kiddie roller coaster.
Yeah.
Mazen, who for anyone who doesn't know, Mazen is really tall and is just like smushed into this teeny tiny roller coaster.
For anyone that's been to King's Dominion and can like spot this ride, it's a pumpkin patch ride where it's like 2 hills. And it's meant for kids, like young kids.
But he didn't want to go alone, right?
But he can't go alone. Like,
he can't go alone
because he's not yet like at the like specific threshold. They have a weird thing where it's like, if you're between this height, you need an adult with you, right? So it's like weird. Like some rides, they're like, nope, you definitely need an adult. Some rides, they're like, okay, if you're here, you could use an adult or not. But he's like, I want someone to come with me, so I had to do it. And I couldn't even do that simple ride. And he did it like 5 times in a row. But yeah, it's a funny picture. I'm like stuffed in there. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our upcoming vacation stories. Anyone who's like going to try anything and try to find me at Legoland, this episode will come out after I've been home for a while. So sorry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we should probly get to our topic. I'm guessing people are like, where's the React
As
Native?
much as like I want to talk about cruises next, but we'll do that for another episode.
Oh, I have so much to say about cruises.
Yeah, well, my TLDR
it.
for cruises is I don't know if I will like them, but I also think I will like them. So take it for what it's worth.
Same.
Well, yeah, I'm Mazen. I'm your host, staff software engineer here at Infinite Red. And with me is Robin, my co-host, director of engineering here at Infinite Red.
Hello.
Before we get into our topic, let's hear from our new sponsor.
Infinite Red. Infinite Red is a premier mobile app consultancy focused on Expo and React Native. We're a team of 30 that's located fully remote in the US with highly experienced mobile app developers. And we've been doing this for over a decade. We're also one of the first development teams to adopt agentic coding in a way that keeps high quality standards while also being able to dive in and do things the old school way if we need to. If you're looking for mobile app, Expo, or React Native expertise for your next project, hit us up at infinite.red/contact. Thanks. And now back to the episode.
Also, if you haven't already, go check out chainreactconf.com. We're hosting Chain React, the React Native conference, in July 30th and 31st in Portland. We would love to see you there. Go to chainreactconf.com for tickets. We will be there. A bunch of people from Infinite Red will be there. Jamin will be there. Gant will be there. Todd will be there. So come and chat with us and see some awesome talks. We'd love to have you.
And yeah, I'll say it now because I feel like by the time this comes out, I would have probably announced it on Twitter. But I will also be giving a talk at Chain React. So.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come see Mazen on stage.
Yeah, come see us. Come say hi. We're partnering with Expo for this one. So there's going to be a lot of people from Expo. I'm sure Amazon might be there too. So definitely a great event in a great city. Be there. Pack your bags.
All right. What are we talking about today?
Building React Native apps in the AI era.
So we've had a couple of episodes now about AI. We had one with Todd talking about just like the evolution of software since the 80s and 90s to today and how AI is kind of fitting into the evolution of things. And then we had one with Jamin where he shared a lot about how he's built his new game, Gunship Origins. Go wishlist it on Steam, and how he used AI to help him build that. But we haven't really talked yet about how AI and React Native are fitting together. And we are a React Native podcast. I'm pretty sure it's in the name. So we figured we would just chat about how we're using AI as a React Native consultancy and how we're seeing people in the community use it, and kind of what it's been like building React Native apps in this new world.
Yeah, and I think just to give a high level, if you're out there and you are 100% leveraging AI, and Claude is doing everything from writing your tickets to, creating pull requests for you for a feature or bug fix, we have clients that are doing that. We also have clients on the other spectrum of it, which is actually my client, where if there's any code that is user-facing, we're not allowed to use AI on it. And if you think about front-end mobile app, that's like 90% of the code, right? Take tests out of the picture. That's like 99% of that code there. Mm-hmm. So we have both spectrums. So don't feel like you feel like you're behind or you're missing on something. There's just all over the map. Everyone's trying to figure out their footing in the industry, right? Yeah,
that's the big thing. It's a huge spectrum right now of how people are using it and to what degree. And I don't think there's a right answer yet. I think every sort of risk profile is valid in one way or another. And so, don't feel like you're doing anything wrong if it doesn't match up with exactly what we're doing.
So I think when it comes to like tooling from our clients specifically, I think what I'm hearing about is mainly and almost, not exclusively, but mainly Claude. Using Claude.
A lot of Claude. I've seen a lot of Cursor too.
A lot of Cursor, yes.
Cursor was bigger at first, and then Claude Code kind of caught up with it and overtook maybe a little bit. But honestly, I see the Cursor Claude divide is more like how people like to use it. Mm-hmm. People have said people who really want to keep their handle on the file structure and like how things are changing seem to prefer Cursor because it feels like VS Code and they have their file tree and they can see sort of keep their bearings on their code base a little bit more and feel like they're not losing control.
Because you're almost like in the IDE. It feels more like, even though you have your terminal for Claude, right? And it's like the terminal is in Cursor and in your IDE, it feels less in the IDE, if that makes sense. While Cursor is almost like the part of the IDE in a sense.
Right. Well, and there's so many different ways to use these tools now. But there's Claude Code by itself. You just pop open terminal and you're running it and you're giving it commands and it's editing your code, but you're pretty blind to it, right? You're
vibe coding in a sense.
You're letting it do stuff and you're kind of trusting. Or you're reviewing reviewing the code, but you're doing it separately in another IDE, or it's not part of Claude Code, right? Mm-hmm. Then there's Cursor, where it's a full application and you've got your agents, but you're also seeing all your files. But then Cursor has a terminal, right? So you can also run Claude inside Cursor, which is trippy, but I actually really like doing that because you can have Claude working on stuff. You can see how it's changing. And then you can have Cursor agents code reviewing the stuff that Claude has made. There's so many different ways to set this up. And I swear every day, I'm seeing some new innovative thing coming out on Twitter or wherever.
Yeah. I even saw one, I forget its name. I know we're kind of deviating away from React Native specifically, but I saw some IDE or some trying to be an IDE, but it's a agent IDE where it's the file tree, but you can't really open your files. You can preview them, but you can't open them and edit them. And then it's on the left-hand side, it's like all the different agents. You can, pop in Codex, Claude, Copilot, whatever you want, and then it opens up a chat box and like you can spin up your agent. So it's like a agent first IDE type thing. So yeah, let's kind of bring it back to how, we as Infinite Red and even just like the React Native industries using AI. I think, like I mentioned, our clients are pretty much trying to figure it out for themselves. Some of the larger clients are waiting to hear back from lawyer people to tell them, sure, this AI can do the work for you.
Right. There's definitely, like, the bigger the company, the more risk conscious they tend to be and have very valid concerns about like leaks and like data security and stuff when using agents. And I think it's understandable.
Makes sense. Yeah. And like for us, we respect that. And when it comes to using the AI on their project, we're obviously focused on quality first. So whether it's letting the agent do the work and then, reviewing the PR and making sure that it's quality before merging it or even making fixes from that. But we're also doing our own experiments. Like I'll talk about my experiment later on. And I know within here, people are using AI and leading into AI fully to figure it out. Like figure out where is it good? What's its limitations? Where are some issues there? I know, I feel like almost every day there's a new skill that's supposed to like fix something, right? And I know Expo has their own skills, which are pretty good at keeping this happening. So,
well, and there's like Expo's gone beyond skills too, and they've released Expo Agent.
I've used Expo Agent, or I am using it.
Yeah, what was your experience?
It was great. It was great. I mean, to me, what it felt like was basically, think of it this way, and I'll put it in terms of like our podcast episodes, right? It's basically like Claude and Radon in one interface, where you're talking with it and the app just keeps refreshing, and you can do like deep links and stuff like that to it. So,
that's really cool.
Yeah. So I think it kind of goes back to like what I said before. It's like the AI chatbot IDE type tool, where this is essentially the same thing, like Radon and Claude in one interface. And I think that's potentially the future that we're going towards. And side note, it built an app that worked just fine. It accomplished what I needed. I added features. I adjusted features along the way. And it did just great. So just like any other Claude agent would.
Well, I should go bug them to let me off the wait list then.
You should. Yeah.
So one of the biggest questions that I've seen posed in relation to React Native, I saw this, like someone tweeted this and then I kind of ran with it, was the suggestion that now that we have agentic coding, is React Native fundamentally irrelevant? Which is like a big assertion, right? The idea being that if we had agentic coding back in, what was it, 2015, when React Native was invented, the problem that React Native was trying to solve would have just been solved with AI. Namely, how much work it is to build two concurrent native apps, Android and iOS, and keep them in sync with the same features, and how much work and human power that took. And so like React Native was created to sort of be able to write two apps with the same code base, essentially. And could we solve that problem with agentic coding and sort of take React Native out of the question? So, of course, like that's an intriguing question and one that we are curious to have the answer to as a React Native consultancy. So we did some experiments. We put a team on it for a few weeks just to see how agents do. If you ask them, like if you give them a single spec, like here's my app, here's what I want it to do, here's what I want it to look like, build it for me in Android and iOS, like build me two apps with this spec. And the results were mixed. Interesting. It did really well for the first like 80% and then really struggled with the next 20%. It had a lot of trouble with like visual feedback loops, like, hey, this card looks wrong or doesn't have enough padding or like whatever. is like giving it visual feedback and having it correct the problem was difficult. Like it's really good at doing like the boilerplate, the scaffolding, really, really fast. But then like you're still spending a ton of time like doing the hard technical problems like time zone bugs and deduplication and like getting the stupid tab icon to center correctly. And like that ends up still being like human craft. In terms of whether it's like a React Native killer, they said not really. Like they did the same experiment side by side with like asking the agent to build the same app in React Native, and doing it in React Native was still faster and more consistent. Like whether a human is doing it or AI is doing it, you still end up with like weird platform divergences that you have to solve for and things like that. Having to like, you end up having to have the AI fix the Android app and then fix the iOS app. Like you still have more effort. It's just overall everything is faster. And the same with React Native. Like building the React Native app is faster, and then building the two native apps is faster, but RN still beats double native, if that makes sense.
Coming back to the like root, like what is it, the root tagline of React Native, learn once, write anywhere kind of thing, right? It's the same with AI, right?
Right. The AI still only has to learn
and
once.
Write everywhere, anywhere. Right.
And write anywhere.
There we go.
Yeah. So I think React Native will still be relevant. And it has other benefits unrelated to how fast you can produce two apps, right? Yeah. Like being able to do over-the-air updates is uniquely React Native. Just like the concept of having the JavaScript bundle and being able to do updates that quickly is still a huge pro of React Native. Being able to like use JavaScript developers is still a huge pro. Like, yeah, there's still going to be plenty of reasons to use React Native. I don't think it's going anywhere.
And I think I forget if I've mentioned it on this podcast or on others that I've been on. The big phrase is this is evolutionary rather than revolutionary when it comes to AI. Like we need to evolve with it. We need to grow with it. We need to figure out these edge cases that, that we did in this project, and figure out what works best and what not. And I feel like I've been saying it from the beginning. I also don't think I've said this out loud, but I'm still potentially a huge skeptic on full lean into AI. Like I'm still finding some stuff that's hard to get over. And I'm just like, you can do that, right? Like I'm hearing a lot of people being like, just push through the AI and it'll eventually get it. And then you have the code. I'm always like, just eject from the AI. You know how to do it, and then come back into it. And then like ask it, review the code.
What kinds of things do you find it's bad at?
I think it comes down to visual with it. But then also when it comes to these native packages, it might get its hairs crossed when it comes to I'm in React Native, but I'm in native. I'm in React Native. I'm in native. Like the bridge, it probably just gets stuck on the bridge kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, and that's where I say like it's evolutionary rather than revolutionary. Like let's just take our time to get to the end. And I know when we get there, we'll be better off for it because we took our time. Like I'm jumping in the pool one toe at a time. Let me just put it that way.
Now I'm trying to imagine what that looks like.
My first foot's not all the way in. But no, like there's, to me, I think there's a concept where if I'm going to lean in, whether it's, Jamin was on here and mentioned his night shift idea. To me, where I think night shift would be like 100%, sign me up. Like I'm going to do this today. Let's just say Claude, for example. I need Claude to basically give it a document and go to sleep. When I wake up, what it did was it wrote either a Maestro test or some sort of end-to-end test that failed. Mm-hmm. It recorded all that, right? It spun up simulators. It did all that. I'm going to tag, there's a repo I found, honestly, right before we came to record this episode. And I think this is kind of leaning towards what I'm going at. It's called Mobile PR Reviewer, and you'll see where I'm going with this. It'll spin up these devices. It'll click through it. It'll show the fail happen. It's all recorded. It's all uploaded to the pull request eventually. It has the failing Maestro test. It'll then go to fix it. And I'm probably talking about a bug here specifically, or even just a feature, right? Like you write a Maestro test for a feature that doesn't exist. It's going to fail immediately, sort of thing. You start fixing it. And as you're fixing it, you're always running the Maestro test. and having it fail till eventually it passes, right? And then what you're doing is you're then going through and doing this spinning up of the platform of the devices up and going through the Maestro end-to-end test and making sure it passes and then buttoning all up. So then revisiting, clearing our context and starting all over again. You confirm that the bug's been fixed, but then also everything adjacent to it has been handled within there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
But that still doesn't get rid of the visual part that we're talking about, like more padding, less padding. I don't know if it's going to be able to do that, right? That's probably, a combination of snapshot testing and, I don't know, giving Claude access to your Figma file to be able to get it in dev mode and click through it and see the padding and confirm the padding's right.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that it's going to be really important to have tight integration between your designs and your agents, which will probably look like Figma plus Claude or Cursor or whatever.
Well, it's funny we're talking about Figma. I don't know if you saw this, but did you see Claude Code Design, or is it Claude Design? It's basically Figma.
Okay.
And it's funny. I saw a tweet and I was like, I need to confirm this. I went to the stocks app on my phone and checked Figma stocks. Literally 1 minute after Claude Design was announced, their stocks like plummeted like 20%.
I feel like I saw that on Reddit. Yeah. Claude Design just launched and Figma dropped 4.2% in a single day.
Yeah. And that goes to show that, like, yes, all of these tools that we use as developers, from Figma to the code to the devices, end-to-end tests and spinning them up and clicking through them, they all need to kind of almost come together into one for us to get that like evolutionary platform. And I do think, Robin, when it comes down to it, for React Native and even mobile development potentially to be fully successful and fully like AI driven, we need a IDE that is like Expo Agent, just the agent and the devices, right? We always want to test in both devices, and the devices all in one, contained, where we're working in that one. And in the future, this is also probably done on your mobile device, built in React Native. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Right. And it spins up the app on your phone and like tests it and does all that, or you even get to test it. It's that IDE, but also the ability for us to eject, where I can drop my agent and pull up my text editor and start changing a specific file as I want to, right? So that's where I'm kind of at. And I think, going into like the last segment of this, I wanted to kind of talk about, I'm building an app, and I'm building this app 100% AI. That's my goal, at least.
And he's not going to tell us what the app is because it's a secret.
It's going to be in the store.
And he doesn't want all y'all copying his idea because this is real.
Yeah. And my goal is to actually have this in the store. I want like Revenue Cat to be involved. Like I want it to be paid and stuff like that. This app was an idea my wife came up with during the pandemic, where one night, pandemic, no kids, just stuck at home. We have a whiteboard in our office, and she just started writing stuff on the board. And she comes up and she's like, okay, I know I sound like those people who you just told you're a mobile app developer and they have a crazy app idea. She's like, but just hear me out. So I did hear her out, and it was actually a cool idea then. And I started building it, but then, life happened. Now with AI, my goal was to revisit it. I put together my initial spec and I said, hey, installing Expo skills, and I actually think installed all the skills. I was like, start building this app. But how we're going to do this is I'm going to hold your hand through it. I did not give it, I feel like most people that I know that are using Claude give Claude full access to like all the, when it wants to do PMPM and grep and all this. I'm actually not allowing all. I'm going, it'll ask me, hey, can I run this command? I'm like, yes.
Which is the opposite of what it seems like a lot of developers just are so annoyed that Claude keeps asking them for permission. They're like, how do I just like let it do whatever it wants? And Mazen's like, no. Yeah. You will ask and I will approve every single thing.
Let me also step back. Like when I first started this, I was like, you know what? I'm also going to do this while watching videos that people have been posting on how to build an app with no technical experience using AI. Like Beto did one of those videos. I forget, Frank sent me another video that I watched. And like, I want to see how others are using it while also just see how Claude is doing it, kind of thing. And let me just say this. The app is like, up until like the paid feature stuff, the app is like halfway there. And I think I've probably sunk, I don't even think I could say like a week's worth of like actual work into it. This is just something that, at nighttime, like after the family goes down to bed, I'll like have it build a new feature while I'm watching TV sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's almost there. Now, here's the part that's crazy to it. I'm still having it write tests. I'm still having it write end-to-end tests, Maestro tests. I'm still having it like keep the docs updated and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm manually testing it, it's working. But the part that's like getting me, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not doing anything to it yet. There's going to come a point where I'm going to get in the code and just button it up before I release it. But what's bugging me is after it does a new feature, it always gives me this output. And the output's like, it's very, I don't think I have it here in front of me, so I can't really read it. But it's something like there's actually a TypeScript error, but it's like this TypeScript error was there before, so this passed. And it'll like move on sort of thing.
Which is hilariously similar to what a human would sometimes do.
Correct. Yeah.
I know lots of developers that would be like, well, this error is happening on main and on my branch. So it wasn't something I introduced. I'm not going to fix it.
It's the whole thing of like works on my machine type thing, right?
Not my problem.
Yeah. And it's like, it basically, I'm going to read it. It's like MPX TSC no emit. My 4 touched/new files are clean. 16 pre-existing errors remain in unrelated files. Some
not my job.
Yeah, same ones as before, 27 to 16 because file name .tsx was deleted.
You need to teach it to have a continuous improvement mindset.
So, yes.
Leave the code base better than you found it.
Oh, I like that. Have you, there's also this other skill which Frank also led me on to that I installed, but I haven't built a feature yet with it. It's called the Grill Me. Have you heard of that skill?
Yeah.
The Grill Me.
Yeah.
One.
It's Matt Pocock's skill,
Matt
right?
Pocock's skill.
Yeah.
And I think for me personally, kind of like as one thing I'm learning as I'm going through all this journey on this building this app, I think AI needs to always grill me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when it just asks me like the 2 or 3 questions and then it's done, I feel like it did a good job, but I also wonder what would have happened if it asked me more questions. Would it have gotten a better, like, I'm also thorough with it, right? You might have some people like as I read, you know how you ask Claude to build you something, it asks you questions, it'll give you like option A and option B.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, option A, even though you recommend it and I agree with it, I'm actually going to chat with you and I'm going to give you option A plus more.
Right.
Sort of thing. Right.
Like you're basically saying you've given me 2 choices, but it's more complicated than that. And we need to like answer more questions and like get more specific.
Yeah. And long story short, it's doing a good job. I basically gave it a screenshot of an app that doesn't actually relate to the app that I saw on dribble.com that I liked its aesthetics and I was like, take this for inspiration and go. And it put together a beautiful app and it's doing such a good job and it's actually giving me Supabase SQL queries to run whenever it needs to change stuff and add stuff. And it warned me, it was like, oh, Supabase is probably going to say, this is destructive because we're actually deleting a table because, the way you're now describing it, should no longer be members. It's now attendees. Little hint. She's like, oh, so we need to delete the table. So it's going to tell you it's destructive, just accept it and let it move forward with it. Yeah, I'm excited. It's evolutionary,
really
not
cool.
revolutionary to me.
Well, that's what you're describing exactly is what we're going to see so much more of is people like your wife who just like has an idea and never had a way to like get it done in an economical, realistic way. Now they can. And we're going to see so much innovation that we never saw before.
Totally. Well, cool. If anyone has any questions or feel like there's something that you want to, talk about, please feel free to reach out to us. Let us know. We'll be happy to chat with you all on social media or even, I believe we have an email somewhere. If you can find it, email us. I don't even know it. I think there's one. I don't know. But also, one thing I really want to say is if you're building something cool, please reach out to us and let us know. We'd be happy to share it on here. We'd also, I would love to bring back RNR, real RLRN, right? Real life React Native.
Real life React
I
Native.
would really love to bring that show back. And, the idea was that we had a set of questions that we weren't going to veer from and just ask those questions. I would also, we will tweak those to include some AI questions.
I would,
within
yeah, I would love to do AI. I would love to just like hear from people who built a React Native app from scratch with agents and just hear how that process went. So if you are one of those people, reach out to us on Twitter. That's probably the best, most direct way.
And check out Frank's Twitter. He's also built an app fully. Well, he built it and then had AI rebuild it, and it did a good job for it too. So check out his Twitter for that. All right, we're at time, Robin. And as always, before we go, do you have a mom joke for us?
Yes, I do.
With hesitation, this is going to be fun.
I was choosing. I was picking.
Okay. I thought you were cringing as you were going.
No, we have a very active jokes channel in our internal Slack, and that's usually where I get my jokes from. And so every time we have an episode, I go choose one of the ones that's come up lately. Okay, but this is a good one. I have some really good advice. Never scream into a colander because you'll strain your voice.
Okay, that's a good one.
That was from Darren.
That's a good one.
Good one.
Thank you, Darren.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. And like I said, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to hear from you and actually even probably have you on the show. And that's it for the episode.
Yeah.
See you all next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
As always, thanks to our editors, Todd Worth, Tyler Williams, and Jed Bartosky. Our marketing and episode release coordinator, Justin Husky, and our guest coordinator, Mazen Chami. Our producers and hosts are Jamin Holmgren, Robin Hines, and Mazen Chami. Thanks to our sponsor, Infinite Red. Check us out at infinite.red/radio. A special thanks to all of you listening today. Make sure to subscribe to React Native Radio on all the major podcasting platforms.